So good morning from Athens. I'm Maria Fluri. I'm the head of Digital Economy Investments and Digital Skills Department. I would like to welcome you all in this event and present today's topic for our webinar, Digital Skills for Vulnerable and Specific Social Group. So the aim of the event, of course, is to present best practices implemented by both public and private sector in Greece and in Europe to enhance digital skills for vulnerable people, such as persons with disabilities, elderly people, and refugees. I would like to mention that this webinar is held in the framework of the European project connecting the Greek Digital Coalition for EU platform for digital skills and jobs, which is funded by the Connected Europe Facility Program. So now I would like to invite Mr. Yorgos Kapos for an opening speech for this event. Yorgos is the head of staff at the Secretary of General Executive Office in General Secretariat for Information Systems and Digital Governments in Hellenic Ministry of Digital Governments. So, Yorgos, thank you very much for being here, and the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Maria. Thank you for the invitation. Good morning or good afternoon to all of you, depending on your time zone. I would also like to welcome you all in the event. It's organized by the Greek National Coalition for Digital Skills and Jobs, operating under the auspices of the General Secretariat for Information Systems and Digital Governance of the Ministry of Digital Governance. So I'm conveying warm greetings from the leadership. The potential impact of technological advancements is significant and will require for every country in the EU to be agile and swift in its digital transformation. Digital skills are essential both for the security and the resilience of our societies. The explosive growth and development of technologies such as AI and the digital transformation of society and the economy may bring substantial changes in the work model. According to the latest Digital Decade report, only half of the population in EU, also in Greece, have basic digital skills. So there is an important challenge for reducing this digital gap in the future. So today's topic is mainly concentrating and aims at highlighting best practices from the EU and Greece regarding digital skills, upgrade for vulnerable and specific social groups, as we need to launch even more initiatives for digital inclusion. Digital skills can contribute so that no one is left behind in the digital age. I hope that this event will inspire the participants and promote further developments in this area. So I wish for a very successful event, and I'm pretty sure it will be. Thank you. Thank you, Maria.
Thank you very much, Yorgos. You can stay with us, of course. As we can move with the panel discussion. I would like to welcome and introduce our panelists. Ioannis Gaviotis, Policy Officer for Digital Education and Skills from DigiConnect from European Commission is with us. Good morning, Yannis.
Καλή σας ημέρα from sunny Luxembourg, which strangely today is having similar temperatures with Greece.
We are so happy for that. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation. And now it's time to welcome Carmel Katsia. I don't know if I spell okay your name, dear Carm. He's Chief Administrator and CEO from eSkills Malta Foundation in National Coalition for Digital Skills and Jobs. Good morning. Thank you so much for being here. If Carmen, I don't know if you can hear us. You see if he's chatting something. Carm, if you are here, I can't hear you. So I will move on with Silvia Condicelli, digital skills expert for Italian National Coalition for Digital Skills Job from the Department for Digital Transformation. Thank you so much, Silvia, for accepting our invitation. Good morning from Greece.
Good morning. Thank you for your invitation.
Oh, Carm, you are here? Okay.
Yes, sorry, I went to make a quick coffee. I'm sorry for that.
Okay. We are a family in this ecosystem of digital skills, so there is no problem.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you, all of you, so much for accepting this invitation. Yannis, I will start with you. So according to the political program of Digital Decade 2030, we need 80% of EU citizens with basic skills and 20 million for ICT professionals for 2030. So what is the regional role of the European platform for digital skills and jobs, and what is the connection with the national coalitions in upgrading digital skills?
Yes, well, we all agree that those targets that you have just mentioned, they're very ambitious ones, difficult to achieve, I would say, but the Commission is doing the best. You all know that there are many initiatives, and the Digital Skills and Jobs platform is one of those initiatives, one of those efforts that tries to upskill digitally European citizens and European workforce. So the Digital Skills and Jobs platform operates in two levels. It operates at the European level, where it acts as a central point to publish information about EC actions such as trainings, career paths, as well as funding opportunities. So we have the European level, let's say, but it also operates at the national level, where it curates and integrates content from the member states. Okay, so we have those two levels, and there are a number of tasks that the platform undertakes. So we have tasks in community building, for example, where the platform aims to bring together partners like employment ministries, education ministries, companies that either work or use ICT extensively. There are also training providers in this stakeholders group. And we have very specifically targeted groups also. I would just mention one of them, Women for Cyber, we call it in the platform. So we try to engage all those partners together to build communities, to make them talk to each other and share their issues and their best practices and so on. One other task that the platform undertakes is it researches for new content and editorializes it. I mean, transforms it in such a way that it is publishable, accessible, understandable, and so on. And another task is the communication efforts it has in order to disperse the material and increase the visibility and reach. And there are a number of delivery methods that the platform uses, such as workshops. We have the awards. For example, next week, we're going to host the Digital Skills and Jobs Awards in Brussels. I mean, the ceremony basically for giving away the awards. So we have trainings, social media posts, and so on. So this is the platform, the central platform. And on the other side, there is the national coalition. So we have the national coalitions on digital skills and jobs. We have 25 of them active in the European member states. And as you well know, because you're part of it, those coalitions share key information from respective countries, including best practices, national policies, training opportunities, and local events. So there are two projects, organizationally different, that operate in parallel, and they are, although organizationally different, as I said, they are different projects, they are very closely connected. And they are connected both in the organizational level and in the technical level. And as an example, for example, in the technical level, you know that there is a mechanism that the national coalitions feed content to the central platform and vice versa. It can be done the other way around. And also in the organizational level, there is, let's say, efforts that or help that can be shared between those two parties. So this is the essence of the organization, that we have been operating on those two levels, and we try to exchange the work being done to, for example, translate it, because there is also the language issue involved in this the whole thing, and to make the best use of the resources available.
So thank you so much. It was very interesting to understand for all participants what exactly is the role of the EU platform and the role, of course, of National Coalition. And now, Sylvia, I would like to ask you, National Coalition in your country founded through CEF program, as well as Greece, of course. So how does this founding help the goals and mission of the National Coalition in your country?
Yeah, thank you, Maria. I think that one of the main way how we were like the National Coalition was helped by the funds was the construction of the website of our Repubblica Digitale website, which is like an important hub for all both the organization of our National Coalition, both the citizens, because like on the website, we have an area which we are kind of very proud of, because it is reserved to the organization of the National Coalition, which can promote their initiatives, promote their events. And so basically like having an entire area to say what they do and how they contribute to increase the level of digital skills in the country. So, and this is like the website is also for the organization a way how to, like network with one with the other. And so like create opportunities for collaboration and therefore growing together. On the other side, as I mentioned, the website is also an important hub for citizens, because we have an area which is called Develop Your Digital Skills, which offers both training offers, so like small videos and resources for citizens to help them grow in their digital skills, or giving them advices on where to find possible resources on digital skills. And also it has an area completely dedicated to news and events, so the citizens know where they can find certain information and how they can inform themselves about what is happening in the digital skills world. And we also have a map of those we call the network of facilitation points, so where the citizens can go and ask for help in case they need, for example, to access online public services, or like for every kind of services that can have something to do with basic digital skills. And at the same time, we like the website is also integrated with the core platform. So we have like this exchange of contents between the platform and our website, which allows us to also to promote what is happening in the digital skills and job platform. So this is good for citizens and for organization, because they have like the opportunity to know better what is happening not only in Italy but also in the entire Europe and in the other countries. So I guess that was the main goal we achieved thanks to the funds.
Thank you so much. It was really interesting to see how benefits was a CEF program for Italy. So, Karim, you also founded from CEF program. What about Malta? Do you think that it helped in the mission of coalition in Malta for upgrading digital skills to find interesting content?
Yes. I think all countries that developed this digital platform, they have, very collective and common grounds and common achievements and common outcomes. So I think it's a matter of localization then of each country, how to best reach the audience. So yes, I think from our side, I mean the foundation is one of the, let's say, first in Europe that was formed actually in this way. It was already formed. We had already a website actually, which was very well developed. However, the digital skills and jobs platform, let's say, brought countries together and let's say outcomes very similar, and therefore there were common, let's say, areas like intelligence reports about the coalition and training and courses and events going on, and that helped us obviously in, let's say, standardizing and doing the things which is easier accessible to our audience. In fact, a big positive aspect for this platform, it increased the visibility of both the coalition and also the visits in the platform. Our website is the platform, but a platform is always a little bit different because it provides more things. As Sylvia said, yes, we offer the opportunity, but it's a challenge, I would think, for actors in the same area to actually post what they are doing themselves, and then there is the moderation, the editing of those that are posted. It brings let's say a higher level as well of exposure of the things that the coalition wants to expose. Of course, important thing as well is the exchange with the core platform. The core platform, which obviously uploads and downloads local events and things that are happening, and downloads the some of the other things. So we say that the target is the European citizen. So if anybody from Italy, from Greece, or from even from I don't know, from Latvia, is something a webinar going on in Malta and it's open, then they can actually they can attend, and it unifies. I think it's a way of unifying as well Europe. Of course, having the national coalitions before that helped a lot, because obviously that brought them together. We did have before, let's say a problem in communicating with each other. What is Latvia doing? What is and this brought everything together. It's a challenge to keep it going, but we've seen it helped us in bringing forward courses that are locally, webinars, and it also pushed us a little bit in actually doing things ourselves. Our coalition is a bit different in a way that we don't have, like, we have an internal coalition which is smaller, which is focused, but then the coalition, there is a bigger circle with the other let's say network and coalition. So yeah, I think it brought a lot of positive influence to digital skills in Malta. It's a single point. I would call it central point, not a single. A central point where you access anything you need to see about not just digital skills, but also digital education, I would think. But since it went well as well with our policies, you know, we target our foundation targets education, ICT, and SMEs, you know, and also you know, let's say the society, you know. And obviously, the way it is that is shown, it is easier to find things, you know. And I think it went well with that. Our organization, it brought more of a challenge, because obviously when you've got the funding obviously helped, you know, because obviously developing a platform, it's got its own costs. But also the costs of populating it, you know. So I think it was a very, very positive, you know, funding. And I think every member state should have that, because it brings a level up the things that are going in the country, and you know, we do have visits from people that we didn't used to have. You know, there are professionals who accessing it, and they're saying, okay, listen, look at the strategy, you know, of Italy. It's different than, you know. So I think, yeah, it brought a lot of positive things.
Okay. Thank you so much, especially networking between EU countries. You are very right. So now I would like to ask Yanis. So currently 22 national coalitions have their website connected to the platform. How does the EU can offer sustainability for next year for coalitions, because we have so many challenges for digital skills?
Yes, well, we are in the middle of a change, a transitional period, I'd say. So the current setup, as you may know, it has been that we have the central platform, or the core platform, that hosts the central infrastructure and offers, of course, content, communication, and community facilities, as I've described before. And on the other hand, we have the 22 national coalitions that have operated under those old CEF contracts. Most of them, or all of them, I think they are now expired. So starting in autumn, September 1st, actually, there is a new setup. There is going to be a new contract under the Digital Europe program. So under this new contract, we will consolidate and uphold the core platform. The process is moving. We are now evaluating the tenders, the proposals that have been made for the central platform. And of course, this is going to be a separate contract for the core platform, and there is going to be another different separate contract for the upholding and the consolidation of the national coalitions, which again is going to be under DEP, under Digital Europe program. Both contracts are going to be handled by HADEA. HADEA is an executive agency. It's not going to be handled by us, by Connect directly. So the contract is going to be run by them, and we will just oversee with the policy side of the things. So what happens with the National Coalition's call? We have recently closed a call for proposals, which aims to further extend the activities of the National Coalition websites. So from autumn, we will see this new contract to start. I'm not responsible exactly for this contract, but I know that within this contract there is care so that the member states that did not have developed a website yet, they will have the chance to do it. And there is going to be some support to the existing ones, to the existing websites, to maintain, to do some technical maintenance to the websites, and also to bring new content. And of course, in the bigger and this contract of the core platform, there's going to be, of course, support for the national coalitions. So the process is underway. The allocated budget is 2 million for the national coalitions, and I think it's 4 million for the core platform. There's going to be one consortium that is going to carry out the activities for the national coalitions. The call closed on the 29th of May and is currently under the final stages of evaluation. And once it's completed, I think it's in autumn, the selected consortium will be able to start the activities. It will concentrate on those member states that do not have yet websites, but also will continue to support the ones that already have websites in place.
So thank you very much, Giannis. It's very encouraging that you know that Europe will give another funding for national coalitions. So Sylvia, what is the biggest challenge for a policymaker for digital skills? And what kind of difficulties do you believe that your country faces in developing even more initiative for vulnerable groups in your country, as it is related to our topic?
Yes, sure. I think that one of the biggest challenges we are facing right now is reaching the 80% of people with basic digital skills in 2030, because it's having basic digital skills means being our citizen. And so I think this is one of the maybe the biggest challenge we have to face. Which are the difficulties we are having right now in Italy? Of course, one of them is the coordination among the different actors, which play a role in the digital skills sector. Because I mean, of course, I'm speaking right now as one of the people in the team of Repubblica Digitale, which is coordinated by the Department for Digital Transformation. We have, of course, a focus on the digital skills, but digital skills projects are also managed by other ministries, other public administration. So sometimes it's very difficult to coordinate them and to create a solid network among all these different actors. And we are trying to do this thanks to the operational plan that we publish and update every year. Because what we do as department, as Repubblica Digitale, is trying to collect all the initiatives that play a role in increasing the level of digital skills and try to connect them one of the other, or at least make public administration and different actors aware that there are other actors playing on the same field. The other problem that we are facing is that it is sometimes very difficult to talk about digital skills, because the focus is often on the technologies and on hardware technologies, but the role of digital skills is less understandable in some ways. So what is important, and what we are trying to do as Repubblica Digitale is to trying to promote the importance of improving digital skills, because without digital skills, I mean, we can have many instruments and even the latest instruments and more technological ones, but we don't know if we don't know how to use it, and if we don't allow vulnerable groups to understand how to use it, how to access even public online services, it is basically I mean, it can become pointless to have the best technologies. So I guess these are the two difficult points we are trying to working on, especially with Repubblica Digitale and with the organization that joined the National Coalition.
Thank you so much, Sylvia. So, Carm, do you have the same challenges also in Malta?
They're a bit different. Let's say regarding the digital skills and jobs platform, the challenge from that point of view is that vulnerable groups. Now, listen, I mean, we work with vulnerable groups of various types. Some people even say that, women are a vulnerable group because they don't have enough opportunities, or they are more absent from the ICT arena. So the definition of vulnerable groups can be wide. It can be people who are refugees. It can be people who are, let's say, of less income. So the definition is quite wide. But I think the challenges that we find in the vulnerable groups are a number of things. First of all, the outreach or the outreach for vulnerable groups is a bit more challenging because obviously these groups they usually have less accessibility for technology, obviously. Obviously, the Commission and the national coalitions and everybody is working towards, equal access to equitable access to what's called to every citizen, and that's a challenge. Obviously, as Ioannis said before, the reaching of the 80%, let's say, it is challenging because obviously Europe has been in the same, let's say, level of 40%. Let's say don't have 40+% don't have digital skills for the last probably more than 5 years. So now we're saying there are the digital decade targets and everybody's pushing to reach them each country, of course, but it is challenging. So the vulnerable groups, then it's a challenge how to upskill them. One of our projects, for instance, is upskilling of old people's homes. You find them in every country where people go and retire when they are, well, these days not over 60, obviously, maybe even older, because the health is basically is very high these days. But the outreach there is even more difficult because they have their own group, a home usually, a resting home or people's home, call it what you want. There are different, let's say, names. They have their own network. So what we've done is we got trainers, specialized trainers for elder people, or we call them advanced aged people, to actually go there, to physically go there and upskill them. Obviously, I think it's a challenge then for them to use the platform, because unless they have, let's say, the basic skills needed, and not technical, as Sylvia said, digital skills is for all, not just for ICT or tech, and there is a drive towards the technical aspect from Europe, about a specialist, because we don't have enough specialists. However, I think the societal part is more difficult and the vulnerable groups are more difficult. We have done also, but there again, the approach is different for the refugees' children, okay? In Malta, like anywhere else, there are refugees, coming here to settle. And now they've settled, they've got children. But of course, yes, they are vulnerable because, you know, perhaps the income is not there. However, usually those children are integrated within schools, so their digital skilling is higher than the old people's, but their approach is somewhat different than the others. So yeah, those are vulnerable again, you know. But the platform would help, especially if the more we go in the process, the more visibility there is towards it, the more that you promote it when you go to the old people's home. You say, listen, there is this platform. It's very easy to access. Listen, what we found is that, for instance, the vulnerable groups, let's say the older people, they are vulnerable, but when it comes to technology, sometimes once they get the technology, they use it more actually than what you think, you know. In fact, we have initiatives where we get school children with their grandparents, not parents, grandparents. And it's amazing that sometimes you find a grandparent who they already know how to access WhatsApp and things because they want to go talk to their children. And you say, hey, wait a minute here. The approach must be different as well. It's changing, you know. So that's, I think the challenges are there for sure for vulnerable people. Obviously then, especially this multi-country project, it brings a bit more challenges in a way that if vulnerable people are joining from Malta to Italy webinars, you know, then probably, yes, there is a challenge than the people who are already skilled in digital.
Thank you so much, Carm. So we'll listen some different aspects of challenges from you. Thank you so much. So Yanis, I would like to make a last question for you. So could you pinpoint some open initiative and action about digital skills and highlight how they can contribute to the EU political targets we're talking about digital decade and those ambitious targets?
Well, this is the best part that I would like to talk about because it touches upon initiatives and projects that directly target to improve the digital skills and in a very practical way. And you shall see that they have their niche points. I mean, they address specific needs, but each one of them tries to achieve something in a different way. So there is an abundance, of course, of initiatives and actions that promote digital skills. So this is, let's say, my favorite list. I will start with Code Week, and I will try shortly to, I don't know if it's okay, to share my screen so that as long as I speak, we can also, let's say, see the page for this one. So, the Code Week. The Code Week has a very specific aim to spread computational thinking. So computational thinking is something actually different than coding because we have many coding initiatives that teach coding, programming and stuff. The target group is again very specific. We are talking about school children, 6 to 18 years old. So kindergarten to high school. And what Code Week does is to organize teacher trainings. The numbers are completely great. Within Code Week or supported by Code Week, there are 70,000 coding activities per year organized in the last, let's say, maybe 7 or 8 years. We are talking about a reach of millions of students whose average age is 11 years. And the initiative has trained more than 20,000 teachers. By the way, Code Week is particularly active in Greece, I would say. it is a very, very good and active teacher community, Greek teachers community,
exactly. Yes,
working with
that's
Code
true.
Week. And the nice thing about Code Week is its continuity. It has gone from the past. It is a grassroots activity, which basically means that the Commission is not very actively organizing it. It's coming from the teachers themselves. We are very happy to see students, pupils. I think it was in February, there were 3 teams after the organization of a hackathon that came to Brussels. Among them, it was the Greek team, the Albanian team, and the Latvian team, I think, that were the finalists for this hackathon. It's a great down-to-earth example of upskilling. A similar approach is followed by the Think Young Coding School. So this is an international boot camp. It aims to equip youth with coding skills. It started in 2016. It is in partnership with Boeing. It has delivered 23 editions of the course and has trained 1,500 teenagers, 60% girls. So that's good to combat the high gender gap that appears in the STEM sector. And it's also a nice example of down-to-earth upskilling efforts. Let's go away from basic skills, basic digital skills, and minors, students, and go to SMEs. So another project that works in this sector is the Impact EdTech project. This supports European startups and SMEs to move from promising prototypes towards viable products. And it addresses specifically companies working with developing educational technology. So it offers them an incubation environment with which the business can expand and access market, and it offers them educational resources. It makes them easy for them to contact schools and other educational institutions that would use the educational technology that they develop. And it works like that. We have seen good results from this project. Let me move forward to this project, which, by the way, it's called LEADS, but the interesting thing, it's not the LEADS project itself, because it's an umbrella project that covers and communicates the results of different educational projects. So you can see they are the specialized projects that now we're going to the realm of advanced digital skills. The previous projects that I showed were basically in the basic digital skills realm. So there are projects we're talking about AI, cybersecurity, quantum. Those are about education and training programs. For example, bachelor's degrees, we're talking about educational sector now, not so much the vocational sector. There are master's programs. We are talking about an umbrella that covers those efforts, that exposes both these programs. There are new curricula in new sectors that are very interesting for the market, for the industry, and probably were not so high visibility in the universities. So there is a trend towards that space. So I don't want to take much of your time, but I just wanted to highlight those 4 or 5 projects, and there are a lot of them. And actually, having a lot of those examples makes the platform, the DJP platform, so vital and indispensable, because among other things, the platform, through the national coalitions, but also on the European level, it is a place that aggregates all those efforts. That it's not easy to find them all, because they are talking about, we're talking about different groups of people, from students to majors, or to from companies to educational systems, from trainings to curricula. So there is a lot to cover there. And this is an umbrella website or an umbrella initiative that hosts them all and makes access to all of those things homogeneous and easy for the citizen.
Yanis, thank you so much. If you wish to share a URL to visit
I will
some
share in the
participants,
chat,
something.
yes. Yes.
Yes, of course. Sylvia and Carm, I would like to make a very quick question to you. Would you like to share an initiative for vulnerable people from your country that maybe give an inspiration for the participants? Already Carm mentioned elderly people. Sylvia, would you like to share with us an initiative maybe from Italy?
Yes, sure. I will be like super brief. And yes, one of the initiative I would like to mention is the Fund for Repubblica Digitale, which is like a public-private partnership, which aims at sustaining a project with which wants to reduce the digital skills gap and reduce also the gender digital gap. In particular, there are two calls that I would like to mention. The call Perspectives that gave a fund of 20 millions in total to the ones who won the call. And here the main object was to fund those projects which aim at boosting skills for unemployed people aged from 34 to 50 years old. So here the target is unemployed people. And another call that I would like to mention is in progress, let's say in English, which aims at boosting digital skills of those workers whose job are threatening by the by, let's say, machine. So 10 millions were dedicated to this kind of project, so to make those workers able to let's say gaining basic and advanced digital skills to find a new job or reinvent the job they were doing. So this were the project I would like to mention.
Thank you so much, Sylvia. And Carm, would you like to add anything? You already mentioned from Malta initiative about elderly people.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, actually, regarding EU Code Week, for instance, Malta has been, let's say, ranked first for, I think, the last 5 years. We're small, but we are very active. We actually target not just young, because obviously we try to popularize coding. So we do organize some things, and you do find from some people that are actually advanced adults who want to know what this coding is, and they are amazed, like you see their eyes going like this. So we are looking forward for the new EU Code Week, the Code for Europe. Obviously, it will be more active, and it will also reach probably other areas. But regarding vulnerable groups, I think we always find different vulnerable groups. Okay, so there is obviously the digital skilling community is not just the national coalitions, as you know, there are government or initiatives going by other organizations, but the national coalitions usually puts the lens on those activities so that they are taken up. A vulnerable group is, as maybe Sylvia in a way mentioned, the needs. We call them the needs, the unemployed, not in training, and that group. And obviously that group then is a big umbrella, and there are, let's say, initiatives in Malta going towards those as well. And many times as a coalition, obviously they come to us and they say, can you help us in the outreach, and we use the platform, and so yeah, there are, I think the vulnerable group is is going. But it's challenging. I think it's a challenging area.
So we are a little out of time. So at this point, I would like to thank you, all of you, Yanni, Sylvia, Carm, for this interesting discussion. I hope to see you next week in Brussels in our annual meeting. And please stay with us because now we will start the basic presentation from EU and national level to see how some organization and from private and public sector manage to launch initiative for vulnerable people. So I would like to welcome, first of all, Ain. Ain, can you hear us? Okay, have you access to your microphone and your camera? Okay, so we'll fix that immediately.
All right, I think there's connection now. Can it be?
Yes,
can you hear me okay?
Yes, you can hear you now. So I'd like to welcome you. Thank you for accepting our invitation. Let me introduce you to the participants. Ain Kjær-Bafal is CEO and co-founder from Ready School for Digital Integration. Thank you so much again for accepting this invitation. We're looking forward to share with us these best practices from Ready School. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be joining today from a very, very rainy Berlin. It's been hot weather here, so we're appreciating the rain right now. So my background is I'm the founder and CEO of Ready School of Digital Integration. We are a tech school teaching basic digital skills as well as high-end technical skills to refugees, migrants, and marginalized locals, now in Germany, Denmark, and Sweden. I'm also a European Young Leader and a Ashoka Fellow, and I work closely with the Stanford Peace Innovation Lab. Next slide, please. So the story of Ready School started back in 2015 when I was seeing the horrendous pictures in social media and traditional media, and I was asking myself what I can do to help. Next slide, please. So that was a question I was raising to myself because my family also has a refugee background. My family have a tradition of being pacifists. They were German and had to flee from Germany in 1933 when the Nazis came to power. So they fled, like most refugees do, to the neighboring country, being Denmark. And that's why I'm now Danish in my passport, but my family indeed were Germans as well. Next slide, please. So all around Germany, a lot of people were asking ourselves what we can do to help. And my question and challenge to myself is, how can we make all these people who have good intentions and want to do something come together and share that collective intelligence to do something that is truly impactful? Next slide, please. So what I did was to gather my network of people working in for-profits, non-profits, governments, and academia to get all these people around the same table. In this case, it was at the Berlin Town Hall. They were very kind to give us a space where we did a 2-hour brainstorming, asking ourselves, what might we do in order to help the newcomers get well integrated into German society? But after 2 hours of a lot of ideas, we took a very critical look around the room, and we established that even though we had good intentions, what we thought were good ideas, there was one very critical voice that was missing, and that was the voice of the refugees, because these newcomers were not yet in our networks. So we were making a lot of assumptions about what the actual needs were of the people arriving, but we didn't really know if these assumptions were the reality. Next slide, please. And that's why up until this day, but from the very beginning, we've had this slogan at the Ready School: stop talking about refugees, start talking with refugees. So co-creation, participatory development is embedded in our DNA from the very beginning of the organization. Next slide, please. So the second step that I did after, you could say, the failed first attempt of brainstorming was that we started going out into refugee camps to get to know the new people who were arriving in Berlin at the time. A lot of them from Iraq, from Afghanistan, and of course from Syria. And there I met Mohammed, that you see in the picture here. And I'm a curious person, so I like to get to know people, ask them things about who they are as people. And Mohammed was telling me that he was originally from Baghdad. He had a university degree in computer science, but since he arrived in Berlin, he didn't have a laptop. And that is, of course, devastating for a person who can program, because technology is changing so fast that you need to keep up with the newest changes happening. So what he would try to do was to go to the local library, maybe once or twice a week, and teach himself the newest tech skills. But he knew that this would not be enough to land him a job in Germany. So what he really needed was a laptop. And that's why I was asking myself, of course I could give Mohammed an old laptop or support him in getting one, but really what he needs and what so many other people need is a completely different solution. So that's how the idea of starting a tech school for refugees came about. Next slide, please. So I went on social media, and there I wrote a Facebook post that looked a little bit like this: if I start a coding school for refugees, can you help? And the next day I had about 20, 30 people who reached out to me and said, I can donate a laptop, I can teach, you can use my office space to be teaching in, all the way to, I'm really good at baking cake, but I have no idea about technology, can I support somehow? And of course, food also brings people together. So we took the cake, we took the laptop, we took the people, everything we could. And that's how we very, very quickly were able to put up a website and start the first pilot courses, just getting to know what we should be teaching, where we should be teaching, how we should be teaching. And that's how we got started. Next slide, please. So that is what makes up Ready School today. This is a picture from one of our first courses taking place in Munich, and you can see what a truly diverse community we have. The people that you see on this picture are a mixture of our students and our teachers. And that's what I really love about the Ready School community, that it can be very, very difficult to understand who's a teacher and who's a student, because it's people coming from everywhere. I think right now we are students from 138 different countries, so it is truly, truly diverse. Next slide, please. So why did I start a tech school? Let me just share a little bit of some of the challenges that we're working with. Next slide, please. So just to share some statistics from Germany, over the last couple of years, we've seen different waves of refugees and forced migrants arriving in Germany. Of course, the latest wave has been the people from Ukraine. So if we look since 2015, Germany, with a population of around 80 million people, have welcomed about 3.5 million refugees and forced migrants. So this is quite a significant amount of people who have come to Germany. But if we look at the number of people in jobs after 5 years, we can see that 49% of the adults are now in work, which means that more than 50% are without job 5 years after arriving in Germany. And this is extremely expensive for the government, and it's a complete human tragedy for the people who are arriving, wanting to work, wanting to take care of themselves and their families, but not being able to land a job. So this is where we're trying to make a real difference. Next slide, please. And if we look in the labor market, there is a huge need for people with tech talents in Germany, and the number is going up and up and up over the years. Currently, there's 149,000 available jobs in the German tech industry. Next slide, please. So where other people might see big challenges, we see great opportunities. Next slide, please. Because Ready School, as a social enterprise, work with a so-called triple win or win-win situation. On the one hand side, we are educating refugees and migrants in tech skills so that they can faster into jobs and increase their income. We are helping society by lowering the cost of integration and social welfare and having an increase in taxes. And at the same time, we're giving the businesses who are desperately looking for talent and global talent, give access to talent, but also to work towards the diversity and the ESG goals that they have to comply with now. Next slide, please. To give an overview of where Ready School is now, 9 years after we were founded. Last year we were teaching more than 8,000 people. We've been teaching more than 23,000 people since the beginning. We work with volunteers as teachers, so that means that we're teaching in the evening and on weekends. This is the key to what Ready School makes different than most other tech schools, because we believe that the human connection between people who are already working in the tech industry and our students is actually what is landing people into jobs. So we work with more than 1,900 volunteers every year. We currently have a staff of 107, and our budget last year was 4.5 million euros. So of course, even if you are a nonprofit, you need to be able to fundraise. You need to be able to make sure that you have enough funding to run the entire school in a good professional way. Next slide, please. So this is a growth curve that we've seen from the very beginning of starting with Mohammed. We taught 219 people in the first year. And last year, as I said, we were teaching just a little over 8,000 people. The majority, what you see here in blue, in full-time courses. That means that it's a 4-month course per semester. And then we also do more and more workshops for kids. It's usually weekend hackathons. So they're a little bit shorter in duration, but we think that you have to start getting excited about coding and technology at a very young age. Next slide, please. Here's an overview of the courses that we are doing. You will see that we stand on 3 pillars. We have programs for kids and youth. We have programs specifically for women, by women. And then we have our mixed high-end tech courses. So this is teaching things like front-end, back-end, UX, cloud. We have Salesforce, cybersecurity. All in all, we have 100 different courses that we are offering. So it's quite the large tech portfolio. Next slide, please. But getting into a job is not just about what you know, it's also about who you know. And therefore, we have a very, very strong focus on the networking and also building up the confidence of our students and their understanding of how to navigate the job application process in Germany during things like company visits. We have a mentorship platform we build a job matching platform, bringing companies and our students together. We have job fairs, career workshops, etc. So even though we are a tech school, we measure our impact very much on how many people get into jobs afterwards. So we've seen we also needed to add non-tech activities to our curriculum. Next slide, please. So we measure our impact at 6, 12, and 18 months after graduation. And what we can see here is that after 18 months, 49% of our students are working in full-time jobs, and the majority, around 80% of those, are working directly in the tech sector. We can also see that there are students who are often career changers, who get so excited about technology that they actually decide to go back to university to start and build their degree or do a vocational training in technology. So you can see, I think it's 16% there, that is going back to study, which we of course think is absolutely fine as well. Next slide. And another way to measure is, of course, to see how long does it take for our students compared to a benchmark of other refugees to get into jobs in Germany. And we can see that within 1.5 years, about half of our students are in jobs. And to get to those numbers, it takes at least 5 years for the German government. So the difference is really where we can see Ready School is making a real difference. That is also a financial difference, saving the German government a lot of money. Next slide. But behind all of these numbers, it's so important to remember that it's real people, and every path is a little bit different. So here's just some of our former students and showing some of the organizations that they are starting their careers with now. What you will see if you look into all the companies is that it's mostly rather large companies, because the startup industry and medium-sized companies often don't have enough of legal support or human resources in order to be able to support the refugees with all the paperwork that they still need to do in order to land jobs. So although a lot of these organizations would love to support, in reality, they just don't have the capacity. Next slide, please. And the people or the organizations that make all of this happy is a joyful combination of foundations, corporate foundations, and also some government institutions. We mostly work, for instance, with the city of Hamburg and the city of Munich on a municipality level, because ultimately it's also on a local level that most of the savings are done by the government. Next slide, please. So all of that sounds good, but there's one important thing that I want to put focus on just in the very end. Next slide. When Ready School started, we had 10% women at the school, and this is not unnormal in the tech industry. Overall, there's 18% women working in tech in Germany. Back in 2016, only 1/3 of the refugees that arrived in Germany were women. So in many ways, we were pretty much average. But as a founder, I'm super ambitious. I don't want to be average. And we need to set very, very high goals and strive towards building a much better future. So I said I want to have 50% women at the school, and then we went to work. Next slide. The first thing that we did was to gather thought leaders, both women with a migration background themselves and women working in tech, to have a conversation about who do we actually mean when we talk about wanting refugee women in technology. And we came up with different personas to just understand what are the needs. You can imagine a refugee from Afghanistan who've been 7 years to school, or a refugee from Iran, even though they're of course neighboring countries. But if this person has been has done a PhD, the need of this refugee woman from these two countries is completely different. So we needed to make sure that we were designing programs that would fit the needs and the interests, the strengths and the weaknesses of these two very, very different personas. Next slide, please. So we took this idea of creating a high-end tech program for women and a beginner tech program for women to the next level, and did a co-creation workshop on the International Women's Day back in 2016. And ask our community, what should these courses look like? And this is one of the pictures that you can see here. And that's how we fleshed out a full women program, focusing on these two high-end and low-tech women. Next slide. Then we developed that into a pilot project. This is one of the first classes in low-end tech that we implemented. It was taking place at the Digital Learning Centrum in Berlin at the time, run by Facebook. And in this course specifically, we were teaching women from Afghanistan. We were translating everything into Dari and Farsi. And it showed that even despite a lot of challenges of these women possibly not be interested in technology, they were realizing that to be well integrated into Germany, to build a better future for the kids in Germany, they needed to learn basic digital skills. And I'm very happy that one of the women that you also see in this picture eventually joined the Ready School team and has been a team member ever since. Next slide, please. And all of that has really paid off. When we look at the number of women at the Ready School, we last year had 65% women and girls at the school. And if we only look at the high-end tech programs at Ready, 51% were women last year. So we have been able to achieve our goals, and we're very happy to show that it is possible to get more equity and equality in the tech space as well. Next slide, please. So the last thing is, what did we learn from this, and what can I also be telling you about our experience? Next slide. First and foremost, we realized that it was important to create a safe space for women. So this is why we had women only teaching the courses, made very sure that this is a space only for women. The purpose is not that women should stay together, but the purpose is that they get the safe ground, that they can learn together and eventually join the mixed courses that we offer. Next slide, please. We also learned that childcare was incredibly important, so we offer childcare on our premise every weekend to make sure that mothers, and that's 40% of our adult students or female students that are mothers, that they could bring their kids as well. Next slide. And we have role models as teachers. So what you see here on the left-hand side is Rita, who was a tech engineer coming from Syria originally. After joining Ready, she worked or is still working at Cisco in Berlin, and she's one of the teachers teaching the courses. And here she's talking to one of the other students, or one of her students in the courses. And the kind of inspiration and information that Rita can give is the most relevant information for our students. And I think you can just feel the spirit of the kids running around as well in the background, and that's really, we want to make it a friendly and familiar space for everyone. Next slide, please. And last but not least, the focus for us has been on developing the women program. But what we could see is, because we are successful in doing that, the Coca-Cola Foundation came to us and said, could you imagine replicating this program in Denmark and in Sweden as well? Which we have now done. We've been operating in Denmark for the last 5 years and the last 2 years in Sweden, specifically with this women program. So setting these big audacious goals and working very strategically towards them has really paid off in the end, and it's something that I'm happy to share. I'm happy to encourage other people to do as well. And with that, I think that's the last slide. Thank you very much for listening, and do please reach out on LinkedIn or email. Always very happy to share and to collaborate. Thank you so much, Maria, for your support.
Thank you. Thank you, Anne, for sharing these great presentations. I would like to mention that Ready School has received also the Eurocity Award in 2022, I think. And please visit our chat to see the URL that you can visit these best practices also in our national website. And it mentioned in the end in English the best practice that you can find about the presentation about AIN and the Red School. So we are out of time, but I would like to ask you a very, very short question. What was the biggest challenge in this initiative? Just a very quick answer if you can. Thank you.
Definitely to find sustainable funding. I think the whole social sector has the problem that we are getting funded mostly on one-year project funding, which means that we can't make long-term strategies. And we measure our impact a lot. We can see that it really works. Our social return on investment is €1 and you get 11 euros in return. But finding a sustainable business model is what we continue to work on, even though we are almost approaching our 10-year anniversary.
Okay, so Anne, thank you so much. Please stay with us to see the next presentation by Hestel Gardner, Interim Director and Chief Impact Officer from Foundation Human in the Loop. Esther, good morning. Or good afternoon
morning.
Here in Greece. Yes, it's a different time. So welcome. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation. And the floor is yours. We're very excited to see your presentation.
Thank you very much, and it's wonderful to be here today and to speak with you all. Big shoes to fill following on after Anne and the fantastic work going on in Germany. So today I'm joining you to speak about a Bulgarian initiative, a neighbour to Greece, and we're very happy to be here with our neighbours and to talk about our social enterprise, Humans in the Loop. So Humans in the Loop is also set up with the mission to support people.
Sorry, Hestel, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I don't see your screen. Maybe you didn't share your screen yet.
Okay. Yes, let me just make sure.
Okay.
Can you see the screen
yes,
now?
we will give you a minute. Yes, of course. We'll give you a minute to do. Not yet, but...
it seems that when I'm sharing it in presentation mode, it stops sharing. So let's try one more time.
Okay. Otherwise,
without
yes. Otherwise, we'll try to share your presentation. We'll wait for a while. So.
Okay.
My team maybe is ready to share your presentation.
Unfortunately, every time I share it, it's allowing me to select it, but it doesn't seem to be keeping the screen.
Okay.
So maybe you can share it. Yes.
Our team was ready for you. So now you can move
Fantastic.
on for your presentation. Thank you, Calliope. Okay.
Thank you very much. And Thank you for bearing with me. Fantastic to be here today. And like I said, to represent our initiative based in Bulgaria, focusing on providing work and digital upskilling for people affected by conflict. So if I can ask you to go to the next slide, I will speak a little bit about the problem that we're trying to provide a solution to in our own small way. And that is the fact that over 114 million people worldwide are forcibly displaced. And that is not just people who are displaced outside their country, but also people who are internally displaced. To give some context, in Greece, I believe that the population is just over 10 million. So this is a massive amount of people who are displaced. And unfortunately, when people are displaced, they're often forced to take jobs that are unsafe, unstable, and do not meet a living wage. Now, let's bring this together with another topic that is often discussed and is very much present in the media, in discussions about digital skills, and that's on our next slide. And it's really talking about AI. So at the same time that we have these 114 million people displaced, we're also talking about AI and jobs. So there's often a concern about this, that people might lose their opportunities, they might lose their work due to AI. Yes, we know that there will be roles and work that will be replaced by machines, but at the same time, we can estimate that up to 97 million new jobs will be created thanks to AI. So this is where Humans in the Loop comes in. We're aiming to bring those two things together. People who are looking for work, safe, secure, dignified work, and also the opportunities created by AI. And at Humans in the Loop, we have a very, very specific focus, and that is in the area of annotation. And I'm going to show you some more examples on our next slide of what this looks like. Because when I first came to Humans in the Loop, when I first started in that role, this was something that I wasn't aware of. I didn't know what annotation was. So annotation is a really, really key part of training AI models. What does that mean? So when we have AI models that might recognize pictures or recognize text, this is not something that is only done by developers or coders, but actually there is a really large human workforce behind this, which teaches the computer how to recognize those images. You can see some examples on the screen here, but for example, if we are working with an agricultural technology company, they might be looking to develop an AI model that can recognize when do tomatoes become ripe, so that they can get a signal to tell them, you need to go out and harvest your crop. But we actually need to show the computer, what does a ripe tomato look like? And that is not something that is quick and is one or two images, but actually you need to use thousands of images. And this is where Humans in the Loop comes in. We work with global AI firms and firms creating AI models, and we provide this workforce of people who annotate data. And all of our workforce are people affected by conflict, both in Bulgaria, but also in other global locations such as Lebanon, Syria, Turkey, Iraq, and Afghanistan. At the moment, we can see a large demand for data annotation. But in the future, we also see opportunities for this work to expand. So if I can ask you to go to the next slide, I will talk a little bit more about this. So in addition to this teaching of computer models, how to recognize images, documents, videos, we can also see, especially with the EU AI Act, that we are going to have an increasing need for real-time monitoring and monitoring of edge cases. What does that mean? That means not all cases of recognizing a picture or a video or a text is going to be easy for the computer, because our world is so diverse, it's so varied. So while we can work with AI technology to make things more efficient, to make things more automized, it's always essential to have a human operator who is there to check that AI model is working correctly, to test it, to handle cases where there might be uncertainty, and also increasingly to do live monitoring of that system to see where things might be happening in real time, where there needs to be human input. And the EU AI Act also stipulates that there will need to be a professional human in the loop in companies which are using these type of AI models. So in the future, we also see a development of this role, and it will become, and it should be said that it will become, and it currently is, a massive part of the AI ecosystem, but it's often one that is hidden. So let's talk a little bit more about humans in the loop and how we come into this. Can I ask us to go to the next slide, please? So at Humans in the Loop, I've already mentioned that we are working with global clients to provide work for people affected by conflict in this area. And we also have a number of stipulations in the way that we work, because we are a social enterprise and we're working in a commercial environment, but it's really important to us that we create a safe, secure environment for our workers, and also that we act ethically in our business. We're a B Corp, so we are certified as a business which has an ethical and a social impact model. And we aim to work with over 50% of projects for AI for good. What does that mean? That means working on technology for agriculture, technology for clean energy, medical technology. And with that, to ensure that AI has a positive impact on our society. It also means that we have very clear red lines for where we will not work. For example, we will never work on military technology because of our demographic and our community. We do not work with petroleum or oil companies. We also are very clear that we never work on content moderation. Why is this? Content moderation is a large part of the annotation market, but unfortunately it often leads to people viewing pictures, images, and text, which is hateful, that is traumatic, that is violent. And for us, we believe that our community should not be exposed to that. So it would be something that we would turn down the opportunity if it comes to us, and it does occasionally. So we really have this focus for working AI for good, trying to bring together a mission to support people to upskill and access work in the digital economy who are affected by conflict, with also benefiting the world more widely, and ensuring that we are providing a diverse workforce. Because one of the things that is often discussed alongside with the development of AI is discrimination and bias AI. And we believe that by having a community which is not just the typical white male from Western Europe, for example, we are able to contribute to that. So let's talk more about this and go on to the next slide. For us, annotation really is an opportunity. So why did we actually choose this area of work? For us, annotation is a very, very easily trainable skill. So it can be an opportunity for people who have no or low digital skills. We run a 4 to 6 week program where we will provide people with training on annotation. What is it? How do we do it? What are the different types of annotation? What do we need to be aware of in terms of cybersecurity, in terms of bias in AI? And we will then run a paid mock work project, which is an opportunity for our trainees to see what working for Humans in the Loop would really be like. We would then support those people to come on into our workforce as paid annotation project workers. While this is a no or low skill opportunity, so it can be easily trained, one of the things that we always do is to work alongside local partners to ensure that this training sits alongside or sits after introductory digital skills training, or we will deliver that introductory digital skills training ourselves. So really starting with the basics. What is a browser? How do I set up an email account? How do I navigate my desktop? While we really believe that annotation can be a great entry step for people who haven't had previous experience in this area, we also see annotation as an opportunity for people who've been displaced, who are highly qualified and are waiting to recertify themselves or to receive documentation or requalify. One of our major projects at the moment, and one we're very proud of, is our Doctors in the Loop program, where we work with qualified medical practitioners to provide annotation to build medical AI models. And with this, it's vital that we have people annotating who have education as cardiologists, as a variety, as medical nurses, as laboratory assistants, depending on the needs of the client, and can give people the opportunity to continue working with their expertise while they wait for their status or while they wait for their qualifications or certification. So something that is really important to us, this variety of opportunity. Now, I want to talk more about our no or low digital skills entry points, and this is on our next slide. So what we aim to do is to provide this entry-level training and roles in digital skills. That's through that 4 to 6 week training, and also our introductory IT courses that either we run or we work with a partner to provide. Alongside this, we have a number of other programs which we believe are important in order for people to use annotation as a stepping stone to a digital career. And that is English language. We offer English language training from A1 to B1 level, and also English language conversational mentoring for higher levels. We offer instructor-led specialist IT skills training in things like programming, business analytics, digital marketing, graphic design, and programming to enable people to explore those areas of work and areas of skill, and to decide whether it's something they might want to progress with. And at the same time, because we have such a diverse community, we're working globally with many different contexts. We also offer personalized career support and mentoring in people's native language. So we currently offer that in Arabic and Ukrainian. And that's the opportunity to engage with tech professionals through our mentoring programs, and also to have a cultural mediator, a social mediator who can bring people together in community events, but also offer one-to-one personalized support depending on the needs of that individual. Now, what's really important to emphasize here is that all of that is run online. So it's flexible, and it is accessible even in cases of ongoing displacement. When we work with people, we also ensure that we can provide them with access to tech, either through stipend for internet, working with partners on the ground who have an IT center, providing a stipend for renting equipment, or providing that equipment for loan ourselves in the case of our work in Bulgaria. Can we go to the next slide, please? So our impact sourcing model is working in Bulgaria, but also with partners outside Bulgaria. We currently have long-term partnerships in Lebanon, Syria, Turkey, Afghanistan, and Kenya. We are working with a number of other partners on short-term projects which dip in, provide that skill around annotation and around basic digital skills, and also information about digital freelancing in a number of other countries. That includes Ukraine, Moldova, Portugal. We've had projects in Colombia, and also in the DRC and in Yemen. And we work with local partners on the ground in order to recruit, to train, and to, most importantly, pay our workers and our trainees to take part in that annotation training. Okay, next slide, please. To date, we're very proud to have worked with and provided paid projects to over 1,000 people. We are dedicated to ensuring that women have equal access. And for us, because the training and the work is online and can be done remotely, it's actually a fantastic opportunity for people who, perhaps for family reasons, for cultural reasons, or for security and safety reasons, cannot leave the home, to access work and to access a professional community. So 47% of our workforce to date have been women. We've trained over 600 people in IT skills and English language skills. And we've distributed to date 1.4 million euros in salaries. So something that we're very proud of. Now, I know I'm coming to the end of my time, so I'm going to ask you to quickly move on to the next slide. We are a women-founded and a women-led organization. And we are increasingly trying to ensure that across all of our locations, we have an equal representation of men and women. So when we distribute the projects to our local supervisors, we always stipulate that the gender divide should be equal, an equal number of women and men working on those annotation projects. We believe this is very important, and as I've already suggested, very, very key is that the flexibility of the work and the training and its online nature is actually suited to a context where women may not be able to leave the home to travel somewhere to study or to work. Especially we've seen this in the case of Afghanistan, where there's been massive challenges around women's access to work now with the new Taliban insurgency in place. So in 2023, we were very proud that 62% of our beneficiaries for women were women, and we're looking forward to continuing to increase this and continuing to work with that demographic. Next slide, please. So my final question, I suppose, statement to you is to build on Anne's statement, actually. Let's change the narrative, because this community is wonderfully skilled, highly qualified, often highly qualified, ambitious, and often held back from those ambitions due to structural restraints such as local labor laws, local asylum laws. The digital economy offers so many opportunities in this area. And so we really want to work to change the narrative. Let's move away from that refugee identity as the only defining thing of a person. And let's think about how can we support this displaced professional, and how can we help them to rebuild their professional network and rebuild their professional identity and to gain financial independence. So we're really looking to change the narrative here at Humans in the Loop, along with our partners and our funders, and to think more about skills, opportunities, professional experience, and also economic development, both for the individual, but also for the location in which the individual is based. And that's me, and I'm going to hand back over to you, Maria.
So thank you so much. Please see the chat that Carms would like to send him an email because he would like to make a collaboration regarding with Human in the Loop. So I'm very excited that this is the scope of this webinar, even networking to know each other, all the ecosystem of digital skills. So you can answer in the chat. And thank you so much for this great job you do and Human in the Loop. So stay with us, because now we can move and see some best practices from Greece. The first one is for elder people. So I would like to invite Yorgos Katsikatsos from Development of Digital Competencies from GRNet. Yorgos today is replacing Katerina Kyprianou at the presenter, so he will share with us a presentation for third EH. Yorgos, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Can you confirm that my screen is shared? You can see my screen?
Yes, it's perfect.
Okay, thank you so much. So we are GRNet, the National Infrastructures for Research and Technology. We operate under the auspices of Ministry of Digital Governance, and we run a lot of digitalization projects for the ministry. Today I'm gonna speak to you about our initiative, Τρίτη ηλικία, third age. It's an initiative that targets elderly people and upskill their digital competencies. So let's move to our first slide. We operate an online platform, the National Academy for Digital Skills. That's a flagship initiative of the ministry and was launched in 2022. The trigger for this initiative was a COVID crisis. And the idea behind that initiative was to offer online courses for people while people were restricted to their homes due to their COVID restrictions. So we developed and operated on our premises a native installation infrastructure, our platform I mean, and the idea was to provide to the general public an educational vehicle that offers citizens opportunities to enhance their digital competencies so they will be able to respond effectively to the changes of the digital age.
Yorgos, sorry to interrupt you, but I think maybe you're not in a full screen. We see your presentation very clearly, but maybe if you could to be in a full size screen. Otherwise, it's perfect. We see it very clearly. Okay.
Okay. Maybe this I'll make.
Yes. Thank you so much.
This most adjustment. Okay. Thank you for this notice. We operate under 5 principles. We align with European frameworks and policies. When I say European policies, I mean the digital decade, the digital compass, and other digital Europe, the framework for digital competencies, DigiComp. And as for the national policies, I have in my mind the Digital Transformation Bible. This is a national reference policy document, as well as relevant national strategies having to do with artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and so on and so forth. We develop synergies with public bodies and educational institutions from the private sector. And our aim is to offer equal opportunities for vulnerable groups and educational programs designed to respond to the actual and recognized needs of those groups. Our actions rest on 3 pillars. As I mentioned, we run an online platform offering MOOC courses. These courses are provided either by us, that is the National Academy, or by third parties like big companies, Cisco, Microsoft, or other big vendors, or even institutions, educational institutions, I mean universities. We utilize framework and methodologies like the DigiComp 2.2, and we try to design. Our goal is to design digital profiles for competency-based learning. When we talk about digital profiles, we chose to endorse a dynamic, personal, and practical way so as to document and enhance in learning and ensure that reskilling and upskilling is more aligned with individual needs and real-world demands. Skill mapping, personalized learning paths are some of the tools at our disposal so as to achieve our goals. Regarding the educational initiative Third Age, it's an initiative that aims to provide assistance to elderly people so the elderly people can be fully incorporated into the digital era. The idea is that digital inclusion is for all, so is for elderly people as well. We develop the basic, our aim is to help elderly people to develop basic digital skills, and we encourage and inspire them to further pursue their interests, digitally speaking, so they can be fully active in the digital sphere. The educational initiative is implemented in collaboration with municipalities. So what we did, we have designed pilot programs in 2 phases. In phase 1, we collaborated with 2 municipalities. This was the very first beginning of the initiative. You can see the period of implementation, and the program included personalized assistance on daily digital matters for citizens 65 plus. So after the first phase, Let's talk about some after when phase A was over, we conducted a survey, an evaluation survey, and we gathered some results. So 1,992 people were involved in the program. 64% of them were women and 32% of men. We have representatives from all age groups, as you can see. We're talking about people over 65 years old, and you can see that there is a representation from all age groups, and the vast majority of the participants found the program either very useful or very, very much beneficial to them. We have to say that there was great enthusiasm, and we noticed that people, when leaving the program, finishing the program, were eager to learn about new tools and technologies, and wanted to pursue further this digital journey. So we moved then to phase B. Phase B was a 6-month pilot program designed and implemented, taking into consideration the results of phase A. Now we collaborated on this phase. We collaborated with 3 new municipalities. Athens, the capital, was one of them, and we created what we called 40 digital corners. These corners were actually dedicated spaces, physical spaces, I mean, provided for the municipalities. And now we extended the age group to 55 plus. A short reminder, phase A was targeting 65 plus elderly people. So we insisted in phase B to provide personalized assistance for the development of basic digital skills. And the structure of, let's say, each session was 45 minutes of course, followed by 45 minutes of personalized assistance, with an emphasis on practical and applied issues. We wanted to make sure that people were not just only listening, but also practicing and exercising their digital skills. What about the results of this phase? Well, before moving on to the results, just to inform you that the courses were structured in such a way, so we offered assistance on basics, on using various electronic devices, special emphasis on web browsing and internet security, a heavy emphasis on use of emails, web banking, and on online shopping and other kind of transactions. As a practical, as for a practical exercise, we insisted and we helped people, elderly people, to use digital services offered by the Ministry of Digital Governance, the so-called gov.gr services, and we also encourage them to make use of communication tools and social media applications. What about the results? Well, the interest of the people was further confirmed. There was a wide acceptance. For this phase, our target group was bigger. 3,174 citizens participated in phase B. We noticed that the participation of women increased. Actually, 82% of our participants were women, and the age And the distribution between the age groups also was quite representative. You can see some of the statistics in the last line of the slide. And in our concluding remark is this, that we try to help elderly people to become more and more independent in their digital transactions, in their digital life. We insist to help them to build their confidence by doing practical capacity building and perform routine daily tasks so as to be encouraged for a lifelong learning trip or journey. So what's next? Based on phase A and phase B, we have now designed a program whose implementation will be nationwide. This national program will be implemented in collaboration with the Hellenic Ministry of Social Cohesion and Family, and the program will be funded by the Greek National Recovery and Resilience Plan. Now we go for a goal of 180 digital corners all across the country. Those digital corners will be fully equipped with all electronic devices and the necessary infrastructure. The program now will be extended and will have a duration of 1 year. And apart from on-site courses, our aim is to take the learning material of these courses, transform the material, the educational material, into a MOOC course, and host this MOOC course on our platform, the National Academy for Digital Skills. So people can have a reference point, not only when they finish the program, but if somebody doesn't have the opportunity to take part physically on the on-site courses, to have access online to those courses and follow a self-paced reskilling trip. There is a forecast that when the program under design, which will last for 1 year, when this program is over, there's a forecast that says that the municipalities will be able to run on their resources the program for elderly people for the next 5 years. Thanks for listening to me. We're happy to share, we're happy to collaborate.
Yorgos, thank you so much for these interesting best practices for elderly people. And of course, as you can see in the chat, we share with the participants the link that you can find these best practices. So from your experience, what is the most successful approach for vulnerable groups from your experience so far?
Thanks for the question. Vulnerable groups have special needs that need to be fully taken into consideration for any initiative addressed to them to be successful. So we prefer to run small-scale pilots in the first place and give the opportunity. These small-scale pilots give us the opportunity to gain valuable insights, valuable feedback, in order to improve ourselves, in order to make changes and adjustments before going on into full-scale implementation. And piloting is an approach that we always use in all our initiatives, not just the one that I mentioned. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Yorgos. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation. Please stay with us because now it's time to welcome Sisi Mamai. She's the head of Web Accessibility and Social Affairs Department from General Secretariat for Information Systems and Digital Governments from our ministry, Ministry of Digital Government, Sisi. Thank you so much for being here. And please take the floor to start your presentation.
Ευχαριστώ, Maria. Καλησπέρα σε όλους. Good evening to all. Thank you for joining today's Digital Skills webinar. My name is Sisi Mamai. I am the head of the Web Accessibility and Social Affairs Department within the Greek Ministry of Digital Governance, and I am pleased to present to you today our Web Accessibility Guide. So let me share my presentation for you.
Okay, Sisi, we see
Can you
now
see
your
it?
presentation. Yes, yes, perfect.
Okay, thank you. This guide has been developed by my team and I to assist our colleagues in the Greek public sector to improve the digital experience for their organization's users, especially those with disabilities, and to comply with the accessibility standards set by EU and local legislation. I would also like to thank the organizers of this webinar for providing us with this valuable opportunity to discuss such important topics. So let me proceed. But today in this presentation, I will present to you the following initiatives: the Web Accessibility Guide for websites and mobile applications of Greek public organizations. We are going to have a brief look at the purpose, the vision, the target audience, the structure of the guide, where it can be found for those who wish to read it, and what can be expected after that. I will also present to you an action that comes to complete the guide and enhance the digital skills of the public sector officials on the thematic field of web accessibility. And this is a training program by the title Websites and Mobile Apps Accessibility, held on the National Center for Public Administration and Local Government, which is the official organization for the upskilling and reskilling of public sector officials in Greece. First, let me provide you with some background information that led to the publication of the guide. So it was drafted by the members of our department, and it was released to an open public consultation in April 2023. We were very happy to receive rich and valuable feedback by the two main authorities and stakeholders on disability issues in Greece, namely the National Accessibility Authority and the National Confederation of Persons with Disabilities. We then processed their comments and incorporated them into the final version of the guide, which was officially released on May 18, 2023, on the occasion of the World Accessibility Awareness Day. Now, what is the purpose of the guide? It all started from our own need, an acknowledged need of our team members to collect all the necessary information on web accessibility, information that was a bit scattered across the internet and possibly complicated for some. Then we thought, why not collecting this information and make it available to our colleagues to help them a bit more on web accessibility and help them comply with the accessibility requirements set by the legislation. This is where it all began. It is the first effort of the Greek public administration to create a comprehensive and well-organized, we hope, manual that focuses on web accessibility following the WCAG criteria. Recognizing also that not all civil servants in Greece are fluent in English, we have translated the WCAG criteria into Greek. Furthermore, we have included customized examples to provide guidance and address issues such as involving users in the evaluation of web accessibility. Our aim is to make a real difference to the way public administration serves our citizens, making its online services efficient and inclusive. As for the vision of the guide, our hope is to be a valuable tool for public administration officials, which can be used in conjunction with the current legal framework on web accessibility to enhance the accessibility of online public services and render them accessible, inclusive, and non-restrictive to users, in particular people with disabilities, and at the same time respecting the principle of universal design in ICT projects of the Greek public administration. What is the target audience of the guide? Well, actually, we hope that everybody may be our target audience. We hope the guide can be useful to all, regardless of whether they work in the public sector or whether they work in the private sector and are supporting public organizations as contractors. We hope it is useful to all, regardless of their background. We have tried to make the language and the examples used as simple as possible, so there is no need for an IT background. So the guide is targeted to people involved in the development, update, maintenance of their organization's website and mobile applications, content developers, and even people with an interest in the web accessibility thematic field and its implementation in the online services provided by their organization. Now let's have a brief look on the structure of the guide. In the first section, we describe the legal framework and the legal obligations that public organizations have on web accessibility. We then proceed by covering some basic concepts: accessibility, usability and inclusion, accessibility design, usable design, accessibility, etc. We then analyze the WCAG 2.1, which is our current standard in terms of methodology. We analyze the accessibility principles, four generic to some extent principles, which are then analyzed furthermore in guidelines, more concrete to guidelines, and in turn, they are broken down in success criteria, detailed specific steps in order to achieve conformance. At this point, we need to stress that we focus on the criteria for the conformance level AA, which is the obligation from the current legal framework. We have chosen to do so for one basic reason. Recognizing that in Greece we are a bit behind in conformance, we thought of focusing to begin with on level AA, which is the obligation from the current legal framework, and then we can gradually build upon that and hopefully raise conformance to level AAA. In the next section, we provide some guidelines for the initial assessment of web accessibility, some simplified checks that we can all carry out on our website, and how to make accessible PDF files, which is also very important. It is not only the website or the mobile app itself that needs to be accessible. It is also the documents that we provide through our websites or apps. Fortunately, the major providers of Office applications provide features for checking the accessibility of a document. Myself, I have tried to make this presentation accessible using the accessibility features of PowerPoint. Now, we conclude the guide by emphasizing the importance of the user participation in the evaluation of web accessibility and how this is highly connected to the UX design, to the user experience design. Now, where one can find the guide should he or she wishes to read it or explore it. Basically on our website of the General Secretariat of Information Systems and Digital Governments. There's a generic section, the first link I provide you with, on web accessibility, and there is a specific section on the guide, the second link, and the link to the guide itself, a PDF to be downloaded. Now, what are the next steps? The field of web accessibility is a relatively uncharted territory in Greece, to our estimation, and it offers a unique opportunity for active engagement. The Wake Up to Accessibility Guide was warmly welcomed with a positive response from stakeholders, social partners, and people with disability. And this is the first guide ever written in Greek addressed to public officials. As for the standards in place, you may already know that WCAG 2.2 has been officially released. Each standard builds upon its previous version and comes to either add or update the criteria within it, or even remove some criteria that are considered to be covered by other criteria. This is how WCAG 2.2 works, and it's building upon WCAG 2.1. So now we are waiting for EU to adopt the WCAG 2.2 standard via a relevant implementing decision that will be published. And once this is done, we will start working on the next version of the guide, which will update the current one and all the criteria it includes. Now, coming as a complementary action to the guide and aiming to enhance the digital skills of the public sector officials on the thematic field of web accessibility, The National Center for Public Administration and Local Government, which is the official organization for the upskilling and reskilling of public sector officials in Greece, in collaboration with the General Secretariat of Information Systems and Digital Governance, has updated its training program on accessibility of websites and web applications to enhance the knowledge of public administration executives on web accessibility. The program comprises of training of the basic concepts of web accessibility, presentation of the legal framework on web accessibility, both national and European, and the obligations arising from it, introduction of the web accessibility goals, outlined in our national digital strategy, the so-called Digital Transformation Bible, and the National Plan for Persons with Disabilities, soon to be replaced by the National Strategy for Persons with Disabilities, presentation of the current European standards and WCAG, explanation of the available methods and tools for evaluating the accessibility of websites and mobile apps, presentation of the accessibility guide that I already presented to you, and advice on developing accessible content, analysis of the accessibility statements that all websites and mobile apps need to have, and presentation and analysis of the structure of the annual monitoring report on conformance with the accessibility requirements. Now, let's all remember that web accessibility is something we can achieve together. This is a very nice motto that I've thought of sharing with you. Let's follow that motto and get to work. And concluding my presentation, I would like to thank you all for your attention. My colleagues and I are available for any exchange of views, suggestions, potential synergies on web accessibility, and be more than happy to receive your comments. Take care, enjoy your summer, and I hope we can all meet again in another interesting occasion.
Lizzie, thank you so much. Already in the chat, there is a question for you. Carmen is asking if we have an English version of this guide. So if you like to use the chat to answer. And yes. I have a very quick question for you. Can private sector use this guideline for web accessibility? You think it's useful for them? Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Okay, so we're waiting.
We hope. So as I mentioned before, the target audience is everybody, whether it's private sector, public sector. The initial aim is the public officials to help them with the conformance, but we hope that this is also viable to the private sector also.
Thank you so much. And from
to
the
answer
Greek audience.
Question, thank you. A quick answer for the question is we don't have an English version because the point was to have something in Greek for our Greek officials. There is the English, the criteria, the WCAG criteria are also in English available on the website, but the guide itself is in Greek. So thank you very much.
Okay, but maybe they can use a translation tool to see some points of the guideline. So thank you so much, Cici. And it's now time. I would like to welcome Konstantina Panayotopoulou. She's Health Visitor Epidemiology and Health Promotion from Group SA, and Elektra Andrakaki, Psychologist, Senior Manager, Social Innovation Expert from Group CA. And the presentation is about Municipality of Agalo, an initiative that is very, very interesting. So, Konstantina and Elektra, thank you so much for joining us in this event, and the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. We would like to express our sincere gratitude for the invitation, and we're very excited to be here today. We represent EEO Group. It's a consulting company that undertook a project about promoting digital skills in municipality of Egalleos and vulnerable populations. We also have in this meeting the director of social protection of Egalleo, Ms. Senia Samara, and the vice mayor of social protection, Ms. Niki Valianiti. And you can see our team here who participated in this project.
Hello. Hello.
Okay, we can start.
Hello to everyone. Yes.
So as you can see from the title, this project includes social inclusion, social care, and open special care for vulnerable groups in a small city in Athens, Egalleo. The project was funded by the European Union through the Attica region for the operational program Athens 2014 to 2020. So for promoting digital skills, we provided 3 services. In Egalleo, we have 6 open care centers for the elderly, which include community members aged 60 plus. So 173 people received our services. Also, we have at the second service a social innovation center, which is a specially designed space with a computer room accessible to people with disabilities. So 27 people with disabilities received our services. And third, we have home care services, which target group is people with chronic diseases and reduced mobility, people who can go out of the home. So 25 individuals received our services. The implementation period was on September 2022 until May 2023. So let's see some details. For 6 open center care for the elderly in the community, we structured in 3 steps. At the first step, which was very crucial, it was about needs assessment. So we have to define their needs. And then we have the second steps, which was based on the needs. And we have to design what will be the services. And on the third step, the participants were divided into 4 groups based on their mobile phone familiarity. So we have smartphone groups, beginners and intermediate level, and we have all technology groups for beginners and intermediate. Some of the fundamental thematic categories was basic phone function like calls, messages, clock, also communication applications, social media, navigation maps, Google search, and tablet usage. A digital skills trainer was needed for this service, and the program drew inspiration and based on ICT for Elderly, which is an Erasmus Plus program. It is important to note that while online banking was not part of the training program due to the sensitive nature of personal information involved, although we did educate the participants how to use and how to protect themselves from scams. So, for the Social Inclusion Center, we provide computer and tablet training series for individuals with intellectual and physical disability. Some of the fundamental thematic categories was basic computer skills, tablet application, assistive technologies, and we also added nutrition education and hygiene guidance with apps and games. And we have a digital skills trainer, a health professional, and a special education expert for this service. Now, about the home care services, it was personalized and it was scheduled regular weekly or bi-weekly appointments, depends on the preferences of the people. There were always 2 professionals due to the protocol safety, a health professional and a digital skills trainer. So some of the thematics there, it was navigating mobile devices and computers, accessing online payment platforms, utilizing online resources, music apps, brain training apps, and also online community forums. So about the impact of the project, the digital skills training program resulted in significant positive outcomes such as empowerment, confidence in using technology, improved communication and social connection, and also reduce reliance on external assistance. But it also faces certain limitations, which that they can hinder its effectiveness, such as diversity of the participant needs, the resource requirements, and of course the cost considerations. Of course, we can address this limitation by considering some approaches, alternative like tiering training, technology-assisted learning, teleconferencing groups, and also peer mentoring programs. Thank you for your attention. And if it is allowed, we would like to show you a 1 minute video to see.
Yes, of course. You can share with us a video. Constantina, there is also sound in your video because
no, it's only.
Okay, okay, thank you.
You can see the individuals here, and okay, that was it. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. If you have some time, you can use the chat to put a URL maybe for the municipality of Galeo that present this initiative. And I would like to make a question. What was the biggest challenge in this initiative? Because it was really complicated, I think.
Yes, I think the biggest challenge was the diversity, because we went to open care centers for elderly, and everyone has had different needs, different needs. They didn't have the same phone. Some people didn't have smartphones. They have the old phones. Like they have to learn basic things like how to message, how to call someone. It was very difficult to make them to a group and all together doing a course. It was very difficult.
Okay, so thank you so much for this interesting initiative. So I don't know if Mrs. Hormova is already with us. Otherwise, I will give the floor to Anthi. We'll just wait for a second.
Thank you.
Thank you, all of you. And please, if you would like to share with us any information about this initiative, you can use the chat. I think Municipality of Galeo has a page, yes, that refers to this initiative. So if Mrs. Hormova is listening to us, otherwise I will give the floor to Anthi. Anthi, you are here?
Yes, I am here. Thank you, Maria. Thank you for the invitation.
Good morning. Yes, good morning.
It is wonderful to be here today.
Already, yes. So thank you so much for accepting our invitation. We are looking forward to see a new initiative that we have in the Ministry of Digital Governments. And of course, you can introduce yourself and to share your presentation with us.
Yes, of course. Give me a minute to share the presentation.
Okay, so I will make an introduction for you. So last but not last, we will share a presentation by Mrs. Anthigouskiou. She's ICT advisor at General Secretariat for Information System and Digital Governments in our ministry, in Ministry of Digital Governments in Greece. So we will see a presentation about MAI Gov. So I think now you already shared your presentation and the floor is yours. Thank you so much, Anthony.
Okay. Thank you very much, Maria. It's wonderful, as I already told you, to be here with you today. And I'm going to present you some features of MyGov, the digital assistant, which uses artificial intelligence technologies and has been put into operation on the single digital portal of the Greek public administration, gov.gr. Now, the objective of my presentation is to highlight the role of MyGov and the way it can be used in supporting vulnerable and specific social groups in terms of digital skills in order for them to access digital public services easily and quickly. Now, let's start with gov.gr. You can see a screenshot of gov.gr at the right part of my slide, which is the flagship of digital governance. gov.gr enables the streamlining of digital services into a single portal and the provision of new digital services. It should be noted that prior to the launch of gov.gr, citizens were required to search multiple websites to find the information they needed. gov.gr consolidates this information in a single convenient location. And actually, it is the web portal of Greece, which hosts every digital service of the Greek ministries, organizations, authorities, and the country's regions, which are already provided online. Citizens are also able to search directly for the service they are interested in by typing here and at the top left part of the slide, and or they can find what they are looking for through the provided categories. As you can see here, there is justice, agriculture and livestock, education, family, etc. So they can locate easily the digital service they are looking for. In this way, citizens and businesses have access to any digital public service they want. And the main point is that they are doing this easily and quickly. But moreover, the reason we are here, and I am here actually, is to present you something quite new, which you can see it at the top right corner of the screen I'm sharing with you. And this is MyGov. Now let's take a closer look. This is MyGov from December 2023. The Ministry of Digital Governance has enhanced gov.gr with MyGov in order to improve the quality, speed, and accessibility of public services provided to citizens. I just wanted to let you know that MyGov is the first field of artificial intelligence introduction in the Greek public sector. It is a digital assistant which started as a chatbot and now is evolving and is being an action bot. MyGov uses AI technologies, as I already mentioned, to facilitate communication with citizens by understanding the questions they ask, searching for relevant information, and providing answers in a simple and understandable way. The search is carried out is in the 1,793 services of the GovGR and the 3,450 administrative procedures of the National Register of Administrative Procedures called MITOS. Furthermore, it should be noted that the questions may be submitted in either written or oral form. However, please be aware that the digital assistant is a beta version, as you can see here at the top next to MyGov. So is currently undergoing continuous training by all users. In order to achieve this, users are invited in the end of the conversation to rate the answers provided by MyGov. So having in mind the aforementioned issues, MyGov could also be useful for vulnerable and special social groups as an alternative option for digital inclusion. First of all, MyGov can be used either from the computer or from a smartphone or tablet. This means that it is accessible to everyone who has a device that can access the internet. There is also, as you understand, a mobile app, apart from the desktop version, which can be downloaded at any device that supports this kind of technology. Thus, bearing in mind that many citizens, and particularly vulnerable or special social groups, such as refugees, have only mobile devices, they are not excluded from its use. Moreover, the elderly, for example, or everyone who is not familiar with the use of computers and lack digital skills, can easily use MyGov in case they have access to a computer, since they can submit their questions orally. This makes it possible for the Greek government, for Greece, to provide an easy and fast online service, easy in use via any device, regardless of whether the user is at home or in the office or even on the move. In terms of accessibility, MyGov ensures that everyone, regardless of ability, can navigate the digital landscape either by writing or speaking using a language they can speak. Moreover, there is the accessibility menu through which people with disabilities can use MyGov and GovGR in general, of course. In addition, MyGov speaks 24 official languages of the European Union and Albanian. And let me show you which languages. Here you can see all of them. You can read them. Perhaps you know them: Bulgarian, Croatian, German, etc. It should be also mentioned that MyGov is very popular, and until now, more than 8,100 conversations have been conducted. And let's see now at the next steps for the digital assistant. I already mentioned to you about the action bot. So the goal is MyGov not just answer questions, but also do things for us, for the citizens. It will undertake procedures on behalf of citizens, such as applying for a voucher or digitally downloading a document, certificate, etc. The previous months, MyGov has started to issue certificates for the citizens through the app for mobile devices. The first certificate that can be issued by MyGov is the marriage registration certificate. So the citizen who needs marriage registration certificate, he or she will turn to GovGR app and request from MyGov a marriage certificate. The assistant will ask the user if he or she consents to issue it, and in a few seconds, the certificate will be in the citizen's mailbox. You can see this procedure at the slide. And here at the second picture, the citizen give his or her consent, and next moves to the mailbox, to the personal mailbox, and takes the marriage certification, registration certificate. So, in conclusion, through MyGov, users can easily find information, get their questions answered, and navigate the growing array of government digital services available online. In addition, MyGov allows vulnerable groups to gradually become more comfortable and capable with digital tools and online government services. Moreover, the implementation of MyGov represents another step forward for digital inclusion in Greece. By making government services more accessible and user-friendly, this initiative is empowering vulnerable groups to actively participate in the digital world. And finally, by putting this cutting-edge technology to work for the benefit of citizens, Greece is demonstrating a commitment to using innovation to improve the lives of its citizens, including the most vulnerable. I think it's time to see MyGov in action. I will write the URL in the chat, and you can ask MyGov anything you want about digital services. And
we already did that, Amphi, for you. Yes.
Okay.
We share
Thank
the
you very
URL.
much. Because yes, I cannot see the chat because I share my screen. So thank you very much for your attention.
It's a great opportunity for everyone that is from a European country or, of course, even Greek citizens to use this digital assistant. Would you like to give us an example with
yes,
this?
Of course.
Okay.
Yes, of course.
Very exciting.
I will share again. The fun thing is that everyone can play with MyGov, ask questions. Of course, not general questions, but questions that are related to digital services and Greek and the Greek country. It's not because in the beginning. People were asking funny things, the chatbot, for example, where I can buy the best pizza, or what the weather would be like tomorrow, and things like this. So you can understand the use is strictly about digital services. Okay.
We don't have answer to everything, yes.
Yes, of course. Yes. And as I already told you, it's a beta version, so exactly. There are possible problems that we cannot know what's going on, but okay, we'll try to fix it later. Okay, now I think you can see my screen, right?
Yes, you can see the screen.
Okay.
You are in the environment of the digital assistant. Mm-hmm.
Okay, now you see I am at the English version, and okay. I can choose from this place, this button, the language I want to speak. So I choose English for our webinar, and I can write first an answer. For example, I lost my ID. So the chatbot starts to write the answer and gives me in details what I can do in order to issue a new ID. I have also to mention that there is a time limit at the conversation, as you can see at this side of my screen. It's about 15 minutes. And at the end, I can read, as you can see here, the answer. I'm not going to read it to you, okay? And I can find help, extra help by using a specific link. I can continue by asking a question at the same conversation. And for example, how much time do I need?
Also, you can have some questions about even your conversation at this real time.
Sorry, I didn't.
Yes.
Hear.
You didn't write it. You didn't write maybe the word. Oh, okay. Here.
No. So
okay.
Okay. Yes, we can have a conversation because chatbot remembers what has already answered. But here there is a small problem because the version of the chat there's been a change at the software of the program, and it answered in Greek. It should answer in English, but it's okay. So if I am okay with the answer, I can rate the conversation by using the yes or no. I can copy the answer and use it at Word or everywhere I want to copy, or an email. And then if I want to make a new conversation, I choose this, and now I will ask a question. I will speak to the chatbot. I'm a refugee. I want to work, but I have no digital skills. Okay, you see, it wrote the question I gave. So people who are not very, which is not very easy for them to use the computer and the keyboard, they can speak, and then they submit the question, and chatbot is preparing the answer for us. It takes some seconds.
It takes some minutes, yes. Seconds.
Seconds, very not minutes.
Okay, because we are very interested to see the answer. Okay. So it gives some options about professional training programs.
Language certificate, English, language certifications, etc.
Yes.
National Academy of Digital Skills.
Yes.
There are many choices, and in the next question, you can be more specific and taking into account the answer chatbot gave to you. You can specify the question you want to do to your MyGov.
I see here that it suggests both the private and public sectors initiative. So it's very, very interesting. So everyone can just play with that to see how what was the best way to take some answers. Yes, because it's a beta version, but I think next
it's a beta version
will be another.
Exactly. And as I already told you, the answers are taken from GovGR Digital Services and the procedures of Mythos, which are every month new digital services are being launched, and new the procedures are described in the Mythos, the Mythos. So every month, new there is a bigger database and bigger knowledge for MyGov. Okay, I think that everyone can play with chatbot, with MyGov, and ask questions related to digital services, as I already told you. So I would like to thank you again for your attention, and it was a very nice experience for me and for all of us. Thank you very much. Bye.
Anthik, thank you so much for this presentation. There is also a question for you in the chat. You can answer. It's time
sorry,
for
I
me
didn't
now.
see it.
It's okay. It's now time for you to answer, but you completed your presentation. So it's time now to welcome in the event Mrs. Yana Hormova, Deputy Governor from Public Employment Service. Yana, thank you so much for being here.
Hello, thank you for having me here. Sorry for a small delay. I'll try to share my.
Yes, of course. We are really interested to attend what new initiatives can we create from Public Employment Service in Greece for vulnerable people. So Yana will share her presentation. Okay. Now we see your presentation. Maybe you can have full size. Yes. So the floor is yours, Yana. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon to everybody. I'm Yana Hormova. I'm a Deputy Governor from Public Employment Service in Greece, the Greek DIPA, which is called. I'm going to present you in short the whole actions that we are doing for vulnerable and specific social groups. Some of them are horizontally towards the whole population. So, and I'm saying this as an introductory comment, that although DIPA is implementing the biggest and largest upskilling and reskilling program for the whole population, we do not have exclusively data for vulnerable groups. And as I will explain later in the presentation, this is due to the fact that the enrollment in these upskilling and reskilling programs, mostly in digital and green skills, is made through a portal. So we don't actually have personal data if the person is maybe belongs to a vulnerable group. But I will present you later the data for the implementation of this upskilling and reskilling programs that are funded through the RRF scheme. Let me start by saying the 4 pillars that we actually focus our actions, and this has to do with horizontal accessibility to whole services, either physical or digital. Later on, to a second pillar is the training programs that we run. A third pillar, obviously, as an employment service, is the employment specific programs that we have for vulnerable groups. And a fourth overarching pillar is the way that we prepare our actions through a constant collaboration with special organizations in the field of vulnerability. And we're trying to do this through several memoranda of cooperation and understanding that we have with other bodies. As far as the accessibility either to physical or to digital services that we have, as the Greek audience knows, DIPA has a special site, a special platform, the prosvasis.gov.dipa.gov.gr, which is a new digital platform following the latest international standards, and using this platform where the whole information about the latest calls that DIPA has is being uploaded. People with disabilities, especially those with vision and hearing impairments, physical, cognitive, or intellectual disabilities, have access to the whole content of DIPA's website. This platform has been recognized as a best practice of the Greek P.Σ.Ψ.Δ through the European network of public employment services. Secondly, we have another tool which we have developed in close cooperation with the Ministry of Digital Governance, and is a new tool which is My DIPA Live, is offered through the gov.gr, and it has to do with having arrangements for digital appointments, either for employment or for whole information, or even for, as we will see later on, for counseling purposes. So this means that person with disabilities, or maybe women or young families that they have to take care of babies and youngsters, and it's difficult to move around the several parts of the public governance, can be solve their questions, gain information, and actually apply for services through this digital appointments scheme. A third one that we have now actually started to use is a new digital virtual assistant which uses artificial intelligence. It's being offered through the Viber community, obviously for free, and it has been customized to offer answers to specific questions regarding vulnerable groups. This means that we have fed this community with all the information available regarding which programs, employment programs with subsidized employability are now open for vulnerable groups, what kinds of new calls for upskilling or reskilling we have issued, in which fields, what are the terms for anyone interested in participating in these new calls, and all the information available, where are the phones, where he can be, where a person can actually call and gain more information. And this is the most easy way for an individual to gain all the information available through his mobile phone. Till now, this Viber community operates now for a month, and till now we have almost 300 participations in it. Focused only on vulnerability, we have a new agreement with OECD and a project for seeing what are the best way to accommodate the needs for vulnerable citizens. And we're now working close with OECD in order to record and further develop new digital tools and complementary services for all kinds of vulnerability. In the second pillar of specialized information and counseling, we have started new cooperations in the field of extra counseling and giving all the information available to the individuals interested. But at the same time, we are trying to empower our own personnel with all the information available and with specific seminars for the better accommodation of the needs of the vulnerable people. And we're doing this with the collaboration, as I said in the beginning, of several other bodies that we have a memorandum of understanding with them. All this we have issued a new leaflet where we have recorded all the necessary documents, all the procedure, and all the information needed for each different kind of vulnerability, and we have uploaded this in our site. As far as the counseling for unemployed vulnerable groups regards, as I said, we have through this tool of My DIPA Live, which is a digital appointment. There we see in this picture the Greek version of it. You can have in your own availability, in your own time, a specialized hour devoted to where a counselor and the individual come together through this digital environment, and they together they up a kind of a plan, a work plan, recognizing the necessary skills the individual needs to implement this plan. What kind of help can he get from the Greek Public Employment Service, and the next steps in order to successfully implement the plan that she has formulated with the help and the specific guidance from the counselor. As I said, we have an extensive and continuously ongoing program for actually lifting up the awareness and the non-discrimination policies to our own employment counselors. And we are running continuously new cycles of seminars in order to better equip our own personnel, our own counselors, with the necessary not only sensitivity but latest information on meeting the needs of the individuals concerned. In the third major pillar, which we obviously we count in the field of active labor market policies, is the new training and digital skills program that DIPA, the Greek Public Employment Service, runs. As I said in the beginning, it is the biggest program that has been run by anybody in Greece. It concerns in total 500,000 individuals. It has a specific time frame in front of us, and we have to implement this upskilling and reskilling programs till the end of 2025. And I can share with you, it's being offered through the voucher system. So we give a voucher to each individual that wants to attend a short upskilling or reskilling program in the fields of digital or green skills. And the goal, as I said, is to sorry for the Greek presentation here. I can explain what we see. Our goal is to offer these short-term programs to 500,000 people till the end of 2025. The total budget of it, as you said, it's an enormous budget offered by the RRF scheme. With the dark blue line, you see the numbers that we have achieved till February 24. Dark blue line depicts the unemployed people that they have already attended a short upskilling program. The light blue line is the employed people that they have already attended a short program, and obviously the orange line is the total amount of it, which counts at almost the half of we have achieved half of our target till now. At the same time, we are running programs in close cooperation under the the scope or in the main field of corporate social responsibility with major companies in the field of in the technology field. And here you can see all the programs that we have already run in 2 cycles for 36,000 persons in all these special fields. This is a continuous cooperation with these companies, and as we speak, we are trying to enlarge the companies involved. And we are about to announce in early September a new cycle of this continuous program to run again. At the same time, we run small pilot programs, training programs for refugees. These are offered through the lifelong learning centers and providers from the market, and it concerns training, small duration training programs in digital and green skills, again, for 1,000 young refugees. Yes, we have a new cooperation with the Transgender Persons Association, and we implement in cooperation with them 3 new vocational education training programs for a small amount of a small focused target group. It regards 40 beneficiaries. As you can see, it will have a duration of 150 hours of theory, and it is distance education training offered by vocational training providers. And we have, in cooperation with them, defined the thematic subjects in order to help this focus group and to facilitate them to enter the labor market. And it will be followed by a subsidized employment scheme. At the same time, DIPA has all over Greece 50 in total vocational schools, where almost for more than 37 different specialties are offered. But and in these schools, in these 50 schools all over Greece, we have facilitated accessibility for all kinds of disabilities or for learning difficulties. But at the same time, we have 2 specialized schools for people with disabilities. And in these 2 schools, one is Athens, and you can see here what is offered in Athens, and the other is in Thessaloniki. We accept as students, people with disabilities that they couldn't be incorporated horizontally in the 50 general schools, VET schools that we have in all over Greece. In Athens, we offer training programs in website design and construction, and accounting, administrative and financial officer. We have obviously accompanying supporting services as a team of psychologists, sociologists, social workers, and sign language interpreters. In Thessaloniki, accordingly, we have training programs based on professional skills. We have 2 different groups of people that they are characterized as people with the capability to be trained or to be actually absorbed to the labor market. Some of our trainees, they can't be incorporated in the labor market, but they can use their knowledge and the skills acquired through this school in order to improve and facilitate their own lives even more. A small reference to employment programs that we have and to subsidized employability, because apart from the subsidized employability, we have open days, open career days, when we facilitate the participation of all vulnerable groups, which means that we have actually seek for places to host these open days where employers and people searching for work or for a new position come together. We have chosen very carefully the place in order to facilitate the physical participation of all for people with any different disability. But apart from this, we have recently inaugurated our new infrastructure, new offices in Athens for the for giving to these vulnerable groups not only more visibility, but exclusive and customized services for them. It is in Patission. It is a new place that has special provisions for all different kinds of disability, as you can see in this here we have special signs in order to help people with visual disabilities to follow their route from office to office, different offices. We have a specialized counseling room, and here we have a constant interpreter, both in other languages but in sign language as well. This is the open call that it is now running for subsidized employability, and concerns 3,000 unemployed individuals belonging to special and vulnerable social groups, and with different subsidized mixture, and another 7,000 unemployed individuals with barriers to integration or reintegration into the labor market. And here are the provisions for each group. Sorry for the Greek here, it remained from a previous presentation. It is being funded by the RRF scheme. And as I said in the beginning, we have make a lot of one-to-one cooperation with other bodies. Thus, we have a memorandum of understanding signed with the National Rapporteur's Office for Combating Human Trafficking. We have memorandum of understanding with groups running programs for imprisoned persons, in order when they will be finished their imprisonment, to be able to fully and easily incorporate in the labor market. We have a memorandum of understanding with the General Secretariat for Family Policy and Gender Equality, in order to provide better services for especially for women victims of domestic violence. And we have another memorandum of understanding with the General Secretariat of Anti-Crime Policy, obviously for imprisoned people, and with the Hellenic Association for Asperger's Syndrome, and with other several bodies focused exclusively on different kinds of vulnerability. So I hope I wasn't very, very quick, but I have another meeting running at the same time. So
Jana, thank you so much. It was so It was so interesting because we're so proud of DIPA. We know all the programs and initiatives that you do for digital skills. Also, DIPA is a member of National Coalition for Digital Skills in Job. So I would like to thank you so much. We already share the URL of DIPA in the chat. It was really, really interesting to see what is next and what can we wait in Greece for you. So
what we haven't mentioned and is coming immediately, I think by the end of 2024 we'll be ready, is that we are now trying to set up the new site for skills. And we're trying to finalize the implementation scheme for the individual learning accounts, which is the new scheme for upskilling and reskilling programs. And I think that this, we have followed the best examples and practices at the European level. And we are hosting an event actually exclusively for the a new ILA's individual learning accounts and the skills.gr scheme in next October. In any case, we are at your disposal for any questions raised or for more information needed and any field presented so far.
Of course, and even you can use the chat to give us an email contact, maybe if someone wants to communicate with you. So I think it's time for me to sum up. So the topic that we covered today was digital skills for vulnerable people and specific social group. We see what is the regional role of the European platform for digital skills in job and what is the connection with national coalition in upgrading digital skills. We'll learn what kind of difficulties face some of the country in developing initiative for those groups. So we attend some good practices for EU and Greece. We share with you some links that you can visit. We see vulnerable people like refugees, elder people, disabled person. And finally, we'll learn what new initiatives can we wait in national level from public employment service in Greece. Also, we saw a new tool, My AI Gov, that is a bot designed to assist with the Greek government information and processes in a wide range of public services and information online. It's with 25 languages, so that you can visit and learn even more in this bot how to be even better, because as we say, it's in a beta version. I would like to mention again that this webinar was held in the framework of the European project Connecting for a Greek Digital Coalition to the European Platform for Digital Skills in Job, which is founded by a CEF program. So thank you so much, all of you, the presenters, the speakers, and all the participants that you are still here in the end of this event. We hope that there is a new event in next month. So thank you, all of you. Have a nice evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, all of you so much. Thank you.